welcome to the Board of Education meeting dated today, Tuesday, March 10th, 2020. Mrs. Smith, will you please do roll call?
Ms. Cummings.
Here.
Ms. Weems.
I am here.
Mr. Mukamal.
Here.
Mr. Rich.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
I am present.
I myself am here. Ms. Green.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the March 10th Farmington Board of Education meeting. The next meeting of the Board of Education will be held on March 24th at 6 o'clock p.m. The meeting is open to the public and will be cablecast live on TV 10. Vision students will be participating in their annual talent show on March 13th at 7 p.m. This will be held at the Farmington High School auditorium. Please consult our website for more information. This is always a great event. Public comment request cards are available in the back of the room. If you'd like to speak during public comments, please fill out a card and place it in the ceramic bowl next to Trustee Weems. Public comments may be shared after the legislative update. Please remember to silence all cell phones and electronic devices at this time. In addition, out of the courtesy to those in the audience, we ask that you refrain from sidebar conversations and that you step out into the hallway if you feel the need to carry out a conversation. We thank you for your cooperation.
Madam President?
Yes.
We didn't
I
approve
did
the
skip
agenda.
one, didn't I?
No,
I told
it's
ya.
next on the agenda.
And now I skipped approval of the agenda.
Okay.
I went right to announcements, so thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of Education the Board of Education, the agenda as presented today, Tuesday, March 10th, 2020. Support.
We have a motion to approve the agenda by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mr. Mukamal. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved. Thank you. It's just moving us right along there. Okay, our next item on the agenda is items from the Secretary. Mrs. Smith?
Thank you. We had items in a correspondence from Ms. Solman from Gill Elementary, the Drama Club date change. Mr. York, the 2020 call to action, and Ms. Wierzinski regarding an invitation. You are invited. Communications are acknowledged, and when appropriate, a response is provided.
Thank you. Our next item is legislative update. Mr. Rich.
Sure, so real quickly, in 2018, a new school letter grading accountability system was signed into law, and so the previews of those grade reports are available for authorized My School data users this week before the results are released publicly later this month. And then a door barricade bill was signed by Governor Whitmer. The law amends Public Act 306 of 1937, which governs the construction, reconstruction, and remodeling of school buildings to allow temporary door locking device or system to be installed in the school building, as well as other installments for security purposes. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Moving to our next item, public comments. Are there any public comments? Seeing no public comments, I will close public comments and move to district updates. I believe our first one is Fappin, and is Mr. Hull here?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Hull.
Just getting my my notes that, can you hear me? Yep, just getting my, my notes that Lester Thomas sent me, who is the president of FAPN right now. And so he's out of town, so I'm in his place to give you a quick update. With FAPN, we're doing this is going to be a transition year for us, in which that Lester Thomas, who's currently the president of FAPN, would be stepping down, and I'm in the transition of taking over that role as president. So, you know, pray for me, please. And all the items that go along with taking care of the that parent network. We still have continued success with Super Saturday, in which that we're continually going strong. We have a lot of students that come out that get the tutors. We just, you know, continue to need some more volunteers. I've put together a sign-up genius to help out with people to come in and sign up to whoever can volunteer. You don't have to be an expert, just somebody to help facilitate it. And we're putting that together right now. Also, we helped present the Black History program over at North with Tanya Corbett. That was a very successful program. It was, you know, if you didn't come, you missed a great presentation. I mean, it was really nice. Also, that next month we're putting together a Black Girl, Save Our Black Boys and Black Girls mentoring program, which is a program to help the young people to express, you know, how they're feeling and the needs, what they need in the district, because a lot of times kids are not really able to express themselves. So we're going to have a format in which that we're going to have breakout sessions, in which that we're going to separate the boys and the girls, and they're going to talk about, you know, their issues, because they're underneath a lot of pressure and misunderstanding, and feel like they're invisible, and that us as adults and administrators and teachers are not getting who they are. And so we're going to break out with that and then bring everybody together so we can understand one another and to get a better understanding of how we can actually better, you know, the mental development of these young people. And also we're re-implementing our liaisons for schools, so we can have representatives in each school. So if there's any parents that want to volunteer to be a liaison, they just are communication from FAPN to to each school to meet everybody's individual needs, so we'd be able to understand what's going on in the district and bring it to the board and to the administrators, you know, whoever that needs that attention for us. And that's about it until we, you know, have a good update going, I guess, later this year to find out, you know, give you more update what's going to happen over the summer and over beginning of next year.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you make sure that the sign-up genius is shared with the board members too, so we can also help
Yes.
advertise that out too?
Yes, because
with our
we're
connections?
Yeah, because we just need, you know, we just only need like probably like a couple hours, maybe one person to Saturday, just to, you know, if you can volunteer your time, just so we can just have the manpower there, because especially how baseball season's about to start up and all these other things on Saturday, so it's going to be kind of hard on the you know, the main core of people that's still there, you know, so we just need just a little bit help so other people can, you know, so all the students can partake and there's no shortage.
Great, thank you. Mrs. Weems?
Yeah, I just want to the opportunity to say thank you for the work that the group is doing and for being such great advocates for kids. I'm really impressed with the Super Saturday and how it's really, in my opinion, blossoming. The number of kids I've seen over the course of the year has significantly increased, which is why you need more volunteers.
Yes.
And Super Saturday really helps all kids. The diversity across the room is outstanding. And I'm noticing, too, that there's been an increase in volunteers. I know we still need some.
Yes.
But I'm so appreciative, too, to the teachers who have been regularly coming. And that consistent volunteering is really important for kids. To get help from the same person is wonderful, although I'm sure you could appreciate any volunteer.
Yeah, I believe it is a blessing. When there's a student that comes in and say, hey, I need, some help in, physics or a higher level of chemistry. And I said, oh, okay, let's wait for a second. And then a person would come in and say, yes, I have chemistry, or there's a professor that comes in that's have the higher level of skill. But I want to, we're very grateful for that, and I'm glad we're that. I just want to have more of a volunteer base of different skill sets, so we'd be able to meet the needs of everyone without trying to, okay, let's hold our breath type of thing. So, but
and just to acknowledge, there's like 2 to 5 people who commit every Saturday of their lives between September and June
yes.
to support this program and volunteer and help our kids. So thank you to you and the whole group.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. Farmington Hills Education Foundation with Mrs. Jennings.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Nancy Jennings. I'm the Executive Director of the Education Foundation. Inspire, Innovate, Invest. These are the 3 words that appear on the logo of the Farmington Hills Education Foundation. As an organization, it is our goal to make these words come alive for the students of Farmington Public Schools. Thanks to the support and leadership of our community, the Farmington Hills Education Foundation, in addition to our Innovation Grant Program, is pleased to also support the district's scholarship process. I'd like to introduce the Foundation's Board Chair, David Roggenkamp, to share a bit more about that part of our work.
So we decided this month to focus on this specific aspect of our work with the community. So the foundation currently manages 6 different scholarships with a wide variety of criteria that allow graduating Farmington Public Schools seniors to pursue education beyond high school. There are a couple handouts in the back of the room. One is a postcard that we mail out to all seniors to notify them or to remind them that this opportunity exists. And the other is a little description of each of the scholarships. So if anyone is interested, they can find those materials back there. The current 6 scholarships are the K. Briggs Memorial Scholarship Program, the Grand Tavern and Farmington Hills Police Officers Association Scholarship, the Hackbots 3414 Scholarship, the George Heitch Farmington Central High School Scholarship, the Patricia Weston Scholarship, and the Susan H. Zervalik Leadership and Diversity Scholarship. Tonight, I'd like to focus on one of these scholarships. You might be able to guess which one based on folks that are joining us tonight. In 2015, the foundation was approached by Mike Lukai on behalf of Grand Tavern and the Farmington Hills Police Officers Association to explore launching a new scholarship to benefit the students of Farmington Public Schools. The FHPOA and Grand Tavern Restaurant are partners who are pleased to serve the Farmington community by hosting a charity golf outing each year to raise money for various local organizations. Part of those funds are what supply the scholarships. Since beginning our partnership, over $15,000 in scholarships have been awarded to 15 FPS students. We deeply appreciate their continued support of our graduates. I'm going to diverge from your thing here. Each spring, a few of you have had the opportunity to attend. We have a donor and grant award celebration where we give out the grants, and we also, as part of that, we recognize, we've been giving out 3 awards each year, an Inspire, an Invest, and an Innovate award. So this year, we decided that the recipient of our Invest award would go to the Grand Tavern and Farmington Hills Police Officers Association. They weren't able to attend our event, And that kind of got us thinking and saying, well, let's have them come here and we can give this award in this forum. So obviously we're inspired by their work, but it's really the investment in our students that is the reason for the award. So, Mr. Luca.
Thank you.
There's your, we have a separate one for the Police Officers Association. Thank you, officer.
Appreciate it.
Can we get them on camera? Can they move up so they get on camera?
Sure. Well, actually, can we give them a moment to say a few words and they have something to share with the group as well?
Well, I didn't really prepare myself for this, but I want to thank you guys for recognizing us. A lot of hard work goes into it. This is just a small part, was the scholarship. We've raised over $85,000, which we like to keep local here in the community. What better way than to invest in the community that supports us and in the youth here in Farmington Hills. So thank you guys very much.
I'd just like to say thank you specifically to Mr. Lukai. He's been a great asset for a number of years for providing for our local community, and we appreciate him. Thank you.
Oh. To who? There you are.
Wonderful.
So this is a represent. Yeah.
2020 scholarship.
Got it.
Representation of this year's award. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the Academic Excellence Strategic Planning Communications Committee. Are you, you're okay. Mrs. Cummings, are you there? You're
Something interesting on there.
It's coming up.
But instead of that, you get my update. Okay, so the Academic Excellence Strategic Planning Communications Committee met last week, and we had quite a few items on the agenda. We met with representatives from Honors Community Health. They gave us an update. They are located in Farmington High School. So I think we all learned something new that day. It was very interesting, and I found it very encouraging. I think it's a positive relationship we have. So Honors Community Health is located within Farmington High School. They are there to support our community. So any students that feel they need some type of mental health support, whether it's anxiety, stress, whatever issue they're facing, they can go and meet with the social worker there. Teachers can reach out, so if they have questions or concerns, or they're looking for a little professional help, how do I deal with the situation, they can get some information. So it's a great resource, and I wish I could do this better service. So feel free, Mr. Mukamal or Ms. Green, to chime in if there's something you want to add. We also had a science update. So we looked at a summary of proposed changes to the high school course sequence, and we asked quite a few questions. So that's something that will be coming to the board, but we're not quite there yet. And also we talked about K-8 implementation. We also met with Ken Sanders and Drew LaCroix. We're here to talk about the IB Middle Years program at East and talk about the status. So we talked about the status, the cost, the next steps. So that was, I feel, a very productive as the committee is working to understand where with the status of that program. We had a strategic plan update. It was brief, but it will be a 3 to 5 year process. It's launching this spring, and the community will be engaged to develop the profile of a lifelong learner. We talked about a few future agenda items, literacy coaches, STEAM education. There are many topics that come to us, and I'll share my perspective, so feel free to chime in. But a lot of these topics and issues that come to us really seem to fall into the bigger picture of our strategic planning. So I think we're going to be talking about these issues. We're going to be addressing these issues as a part of the bigger strategic plan. Yeah. So, and that is the end of my report, unless there's more to add.
No,
All right.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next committee report was Superintendent's Evaluation and Succession Planning Committee. The Superintendent's Evaluation and Succession Planning Committee met on March 5th to review Dr. Herrera's current contract, discuss recommendations for the 2020-21 contract. We've also been talking with MASB and the attorney through MASB, so that will be forthcoming in April. Anything else there? All right, moving to our next item on the agenda, discussion items, beginning with the review of the bus purchase.
Thank you. I would like to ask Mrs. Kaminsky to come forward. She will introduce some of our guests here tonight to update the board on the discussion items regarding not only buses, but generator and furniture and other things going on at Almeida.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. Good evening. So with the passage of the 2015 bond, Farmington has been able to purchase 32 new buses, but we still have over 30 buses in our fleet that are greater than 10 years old. So with savings on previously completed construction projects, we are recommending that an additional 10 buses be purchased. The district utilized the 2020 Michigan School Business Officials Bus Purchase Program. So using this program gives the district pricing leverage because of the number of buses purchased through the program annually. This information was previously reviewed with the Finance and Facilities Committee, and the recommendation is to purchase 3 21-passenger special education buses and 7 65-passenger buses from Hoekstra Transportation, totaling $954,908, with funds to come from the Capital Projects Building and Site 2018 fund. And I can answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, hi Jennifer. Just real quick, one question. Saying they're in line with the other buses in terms of make, model, et cetera,
Correct. Yes, we own all of our right now, so yes, that does make things easier repair-wise. The mechanics know the buses, and there's no learning curve in that area.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Mucknall.
To replace buses when they're 10 years old, is that approximately 30,000 miles?
Trying to think about 8 years, 2 years as a spare, so
okay.
Yes. These are definitely, they're greater than 10 years.
Yes.
They might even be older.
Yes.
So there is kind of a replacement cycle that's set up for the next 7 years.
My question,
Yes.
if I'm reading this right, we're replacing buses that were purchased in
Yes. So, yeah, about 14 years old. Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Mokomo just mentioned replacing 30,000 miles. It's significantly higher than 30,000,
Is it?
correct?
Oh, the mileage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure we're all clear on that.
Right.
Yeah, they're anywhere from 85 to 100,000
Okay,
miles.
I see.
Thank
on
you.
those buses.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Just wanted to
Yep.
get out.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, 1 second, John, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
No. Okay, sorry. Want to make sure we're doing this right
Okay.
here. All right. No other questions? We'll move to review of Vision's Unlimited generator purchase.
Okay, so tonight we have Scott Smith here from Plant Moran Cressa, and he is going to review the Visions generator purchase and then a few items in the next agenda item, the move management for Farmington Early Childhood Center and the abatement. So I will turn it over to Scott.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, so the first item is an item that I believe you'll recall from a past committee meeting, but it's the replacement of the emergency generator over at Visions Unlimited. This is a generator that's well beyond its useful life at pushing 40 years old. It's been repaired in the past. It's at that point where it cannot be repaired. It's in a state of failure. We need to move forward with full replacement. So as a result, we bid the project out publicly. We received 3 bids. Part of the scope is actually we're upsizing the generator slightly to allow for some surplus capacity in the future. The existing one was actually very small for the size of the building, so we've accommodated that. Certainly the codes have changed in the last 40 years, so we've got some different electrical that's associated with it. Tonight we're recommending the second bidder of the 3, which is Great Lakes Power and Lighting, in an amount of $133,000. Unfortunately, the low bidder missed some scope in their bid and didn't have a complete bid. Bids range from 85 to 100 and almost 156,000. So you can see that the proper number is really where we're at with this one. So we've reviewed him. He's got a complete scope. He's ready to move forward with the project. With your approval, we plan to order the generator, get submittals rolling, and this would be probably an August, September, October type of project that they'd get rolling with as soon as materials are available. It can be done without disruption to the school. We'll have to coordinate a shutdown to transfer the power over, but it would be minimal disruption and it would be done during off hours. So,
Mr. Rich.
What was the other company to provide a bid? I know the lower one was Shoreview.
the third bidder was J-Rank Electric, and their bid was $155,918.
Great. Thank you very much. The next item for discussion is review of the Farmington Early Childhood Furniture Move and Abatement.
I'll stay up for this. I'm also going to introduce Mr. Bill Weinrack from TMP Architects. Bill and his team have been instrumental in working with the school district to develop a furniture plan for Alameda, taking into account all the improvements we've made. Without getting too much into it, I'll introduce Bill and let him present the information, and we'll answer any questions afterwards.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So our office is working on Alameda, and our interiors group has been working with Kirsten. We started in November on furniture. Part of the package, when we put the project together, we established a line item total for furniture. It was at the $600,000 range, $635,000. So that was prior to construction. Since then, we've been under construction. Everything's going really well. Budgets are doing really well. So as this furniture package was presented, we wanted to replace the furniture in all the building. So the budget was there. We went through to make sure that the classroom furniture in the addition and the classroom furniture in the original building that's being renovated is similar. So all the classrooms are being outfitted similarly. The good news is we have bids for all of that work that came in at $391,000. So we're able to furnish the entire building. And then we were also able to add some cafeteria tables to the project as well. Part of what happened, we went through when we initially set a budget, not knowing where the district stood with furniture, we came up with a conservative estimate. Since then, we met with Kirsten, and she had brought to the table that they have been working with Lakeshore Learning, which is a quality product. They have a long-standing relationship with Kirsten and their preschool programs. So a majority of the furniture that's being presented tonight or being asked for award is through Lakeshore Learning, and that's basically all of the classroom furniture. The office areas and all the support spaces, they were through a furniture line that was previously purchased in other buildings through bond programs. So we kept with the same furniture line, and that is incorporated into this package. So the furniture you purchased at other elementary schools is the same type of furniture for the offices and support spaces in this building. One of the things I wanted to touch on, one of the questions going in had to do with warranties. Lakeshore Learning does have a lifetime warranty on all of their furniture. The cafeteria tables, they also have a lifetime warranty, and Palmer Hamilton tables that are going into the teachers' lounges, there's a 15-year warranty. So basically all your furniture going into the building is at 10, and for the most part, lifetime warranties on this furniture. So I'm not sure the littlest kids in the district, the little learners, are going to put too much stress on the furniture. So we're pretty comfortable with what was being presented to you. As you're aware, our office does do predominantly K-12 education, and all of the furniture lines that are presented are furniture lines that we typically deal with. These vendors, we deal with them on all of our schoolwork. So what's being presented is something that is placed in many school districts throughout the state.
I actually was very happy when I reviewed the items you were considering to see Lakeshore in there, with the consideration of like the kitchen units, the pretend play area, the dress-up centers, being in alignment with appropriateness for our preschool kids. So I was very happy to see we're still encouraging that play with our children. So
instrumental in putting these classrooms together.
So well done, thank you. Anything else? Okay.
If I could add just one more thing
Yes.
too. I know Alameda wasn't originally a bond project, but we've went through all of the money spent in furniture to date, what's open in POs. Certainly this $400,000 just south of that fits within the $5,000 or $5 million budget we currently have used throughout the bond for furniture. So it's within that budget. Just want to point that out.
So one question that you have, I saw in the workspaces you have whiteboards and stuff for for workspaces. What about consideration for bulletin boards for displaying students' work? Is that part of this? I didn't see
The
that.
construction package covered a lot of the whiteboards and tack boards in classrooms and corridors. So these are other specialty areas that were requested during the furniture piece.
Great, so we're covered, good.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next item up for review is our phone system upgrade.
Timing.
Ding, ding, yeah.
You did that on purpose.
Yeah,
Scott still needs to review the move management bids and the abatement project. So.
We'll just have it ring again when it's time.
Yeah. Yes, you're right, the move management portion.
Good evening again. So this next presentation is for move management services for Alameda Farmington Early Childhood. It is really two parts. It is the move out and move back of Alameda as you know it today, as well as the bringing over the department from Farmington Community School. So it's got a couple different phases for it, and I'll also point out that the move has been coordinated in terms of scope with the idea that we'd be replacing the furniture. So that's been coordinated, and it's worked into the work scope that everybody bid on. So we had a very good, successful turnout. Again, it's a project we publicly bid out back in February. Earlier this month, we took bids. We received a total of 6 bids. Firms we've worked with and have typically bid the Farmington projects over the last several years. Reviewed the scopes with them. In this case, we are actually recommending the second bidder, professionalmovers.com, an amount of $28,685. They're roughly $1,000 more than the low bidder. For this one, with all the integration of furniture, numerous different furniture vendors, there's a lot going on there. The track record with Professional Movers has been fantastic. They're a top communicator in terms of working with the district. We think they'll probably play into this in an advantageous manner as we try to integrate the new furniture, the move back of the furniture, the coordination with staff and students. We felt for the small difference in price, this was the right firm to recommend given the small differences. I will tell you the bids came in fantastic. Bids ranged from just under 28,000 all the way up to almost 64. If you've heard me up here before, this is one of those industries that you see wild swings in scope. And the auto show is going on. Some of those vendors may be more tied in with that and not as aggressive with their pricing. But to have 3 bids within a few $1,000s of each other, I really felt this number would probably be in the 40s. So I think this is fantastic value for the district. We've got a partner here that has done well in the past. We have no questions recommending professional movers for the work. Any questions?
Okay, the abatement.
Sure. So staying with Alameda Early Childhood Center, as with any of the projects there, the district has removed a lot of the asbestos in the buildings across the district over the years. In fact, the amount of abatement we've removed throughout the course of the bond is probably under $1 million. That's fantastic. We've been in many other districts where they're still dealing with larger sections of this. So again, we've worked with Nova Environmental, who's the district's environmental consultant. They went out, surveyed the materials that are in the building, see how it impacts what the construction scope is, see what is going to need to be abated. In this case, a lot of the walls that are in the corridors, there's abatement in there. This is a condition that was similar to Kenbrook and Longacre in terms of scope. There's some caulking on the exterior doors. So this was all put together in a bid package by Nova Environmental. Publicly bid in February. We opened bids on March the 3rd. Had 4 bidders, bids ranging between $56,000 and $75,000 from firms that Nova has worked with in the district. The low bidder and recommended bidder is Qualified Abatement Services in the amount of $56,000. The scope of work's been reviewed with them. The schedule's been reviewed with them. It's been sequenced with the construction team over roughly a 2-week period is how it's being planned. And they're ready to start as soon as classes are, as soon as the move-out's completed in mid-June.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you all.
Can you ring again?
It's on silent.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Let's test that theory.
Jennifer, we're ready for the phone system upgrade.
Okay. Well, this evening we have Ryan Velzy, Director of Technology Operations from Oakland Schools, here with us to review the phone system upgrade. If you recall, this information was presented by Ryan at a previous Finance and Facilities Committee meeting. And the phone system upgrade was a project that was identified in the 2015 bond in the technology area. So I'm going to turn it over to him. He'll explain the process and walk through the results. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Jennifer. All right, so I'll quickly walk you through why we're talking about the phone system in Farmington today. So the original phone system in Farmington was put in around 2004, so it's about 16 years old. Different components of the phone system have been replaced over the last number of years. Significant upgrades have taken place on the actual routers and stuff in the buildings, but one of the major components of the system is actually the handsets, and the handsets are a piece of this project that we're going to talk about upgrading. So it's all the handsets in all the classrooms. They're 16 years old, but there's also some technology that's in them that the speeds and feeds of the phones, the actually throughput of the phones in a lot of the classrooms, the computer is attached to the phone. And so that speed and feed is actually slowing down the speed of the computer. So that's a technical reason why we need to upgrade the phones. The other thing is the actual software, the back-end software that processes the voicemail. That software is end of life and no longer supported by Microsoft. So we're at a point with the back-end system and also the handsets that these components need to be replaced to continue to have a reliable phone system here in Farmington. So that brings me to the process. The process that we used is that over the last 6 months, Farmington joined in a consortium between Wayne and Oakland County to go out for a phone system RFP, and we collected needs from different districts, and we had six districts identified in Oakland County that needed a phone system. So we went out to RFP. Originally, we were looking for a solution that was cloud-based. You know, we hear cloud, we hear, you know, get everything off-site, and so we went and we wrote the RFP for that. But we wanted to see what the market could offer us, and so we also put in the RFP that we could accept an on-prem solution. And when we got the RFP results back, we started analyzing them, and we quickly determined that going to a cloud solution was actually at a premium. So we put those bids aside. There was kind of like two buckets, the cloud, and then there was the on-prem. So quickly then we started to look at, okay, the on-prem solutions, what are they offering? It was actually the solution that we're going to talk about is actually the low bidder, and it's the low bidder that you currently have, which is a Cisco solution. So with that, you can reutilize, that's some cost savings to Farmington because you can reuse some of those routers and stuff that I talked about to continue to upgrade and refresh the system. So we completed the RFP process with Wayne and Oakland schools, and we're recommending that this is for information tonight, but the award go to Logicalis, which was the low bidder, into a not exceed amount of $407,000. And I would like to take you through kind of the breakdown of it. So there's $189,000 of the actual hardware, the handsets, and the deployment services. So the way this is working is after this project, after you approve the project, we would have the vendor come in. We would come up with a schedule by building, do a building a night, go in, map out all the phones, replace all the phones, be there the next day to make sure that all the phones are working, and then go to the next building and the next building and do it all throughout the district. So there is some professional services on top of the actual, you know, phone handsets and the other components. Then there's a license agreement. So the way that the industry has moved is actually to a licensing model that's subscription based. So this is a 60-month subscription. It's called the Cisco Flex licensing. It includes all the components we need to run a modern phone system environment. Some of the capabilities, we will have the ability to have a mobile app, so if teachers want to or administrators want to be able to, you know, check their voicemail, call back a parent while they're, you know, not in their classroom, they'll have some additional capabilities. Not that everybody has to use that on day one, but it'll be available. We can grow into it. So the $198,000 that you see for the 5-year software is a 5-year subscription. So after 5 years, we'll have to look at that and, you know, make some decisions. And then there's some centralized hardware. That's the $3,750 in this memo. And then I did built in a $15,000 contingency for this project. I feel very confident that we won't need that, but always, again, when you get into a project, you want to make sure that you have some room to do a time and materials award just in case something pops up. So with that, I think that we're very comfortable with this award. There is approximately 1,200 phones that would be upgraded throughout the district, and I'll take any questions that you have for me tonight.
Mr. Muckmel.
Are there any hardwiring issues with installing the new system?
Not that I've identified. So the way that the phones will be upgraded is because they're tied through the computers. It goes from the wall to the phone and then to the computer. So again, the setup will be very similar to the way it's deployed today. So don't anticipate any wiring challenges at this time.
I know you, oops, I'm sorry, did I miss your hand? Sorry. Nope, you're first. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank
Johnson.
you. Just a quick question. I'm sure a lot of people are looking at the price of this and saying, why can't we go to like a Best Buy and just pick up some phones off the shelf? That would not work, is that?
Yeah, so this is a voice over IP system, so that's a voice over IP, which is voice on the network. So over the last number of years, we've had a convergence of voice, video, and data onto the IP network. So there is some complexity being able to do a mass alerting, you know, being able to page all phones, being able to have inter-district dialing, being able to so it's an enterprise phone system. There really is no way to take a phone from Best Buy and deploy it in the school. So this is a very low-cost solution. You know, we looked at the handsets are just south of $150 for the actual handset and the license. So I believe that this is the lowest cost way to meet the requirement of having a phone in every classroom. In today's era, we need a phone in every classroom for safety and security of our students. We need that phone to be reliable. So I believe that this is a good choice to invest in a system.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
You mentioned that you'll take a building at a time. It'll take you the night to do it. Parent calls in their child absent. Does that transfer to the new system, or is there a downtime in between?
Yeah, so actually this deployment strategy, to go in a little bit further details, will be that the existing system will remain active throughout the district. The existing system, that deployment that we have, the phones can be upgraded one by one. So basically, and we just completed this in Southfield over the last 2 weeks. So you walk in the classroom, this is the phone. You can copy the phone from the current phone to the new phone, and then you move on. That profile, everything about that phone is still active. So we're going to do that phone by phone by phone throughout the district and throughout the building. Then at a certain given time, we do a cut over. And the cut over is when we have to basically take all the programming and upgrade it to the new system. That's the point in time when we've built in time to be available on site for any problems. We'll create tickets with the vendors. So again, it's a conversion. There's going to be, you know, a couple hiccups. I can't say there won't be, but we feel prepared to address them, and we will address them, and we'll resolve the issues as they come up.
My next question was in regards to safety and security. I know our phone systems, we worked over the past several years that there's a certain way, a feature that you can call out on them overhead. Is that, you guys have considered all of this in this component?
Yes,
Safety
the
and
the
security
paging,
component.
the voice over IP paging is still going to be active. Yep.
And then my last one is, how user-friendly are the new phone systems so that when staff comes in, they're able to use them?
Yeah, so we actually, we were very, I'll just speak from experience in doing this over the last 2 weeks in Southfield. You know, we started out very slow. We did one building with 10 phones and just anticipated, and then there was some snow days over the last 2 weeks, so we had to delay those. So then we did 2 buildings, and the feedback from the Southfield team that I managed was, you know, there was not any challenges, that we did not have a spike of tickets. The phones are, because we're staying with the Cisco platform, if you can use this phone, the usability of the upgraded phone is very similar, so I don't anticipate any challenges there. If we were switching over to a competitor's phone system, there could be a learning curve. But we're going to keep, in the initial rollout, we're going to keep things very similar. We're just going to basically upgrade the reliability of the system, because on the back end, not only these handsets are 16 years old, they're system components that are end of life, and their reliability for our safety and security needs to be considered too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next review is our auditor appointment.
I'll just quickly introduce Kim Pinchuk, our finance director, who's going to walk through our review of our auditor appointment. Thanks.
Thank you, Jennifer. Good evening. Thank you. As you know, by law, we're required to have a financial statement audit every year. So each spring, we come to the board with a recommendation for the appointment of an auditing firm to conduct our financial statement audit of our district funds. This year, we're recommending to retain Plant Moran for that audit. This year's fee proposal is approximately 4.7% higher than last year. This is mainly due to costs associated with the first year implementation of GASB 84, which is the accounting for our fiduciary funds. We'll be implementing that this summer. We feel that this year's fee proposal still remains competitive for the services that are provided as compared to similar districts, based on the number of students and the scope of the work performed. Currently, Plant Moran audits the comprehensive annual financial report, the single audit of federal awards, the ASBO certification report, and then they do an annual review of our capital project spending in our 2018 bond. In addition, Plant Moran continues to provide value-added services throughout the year by providing communications and materials to help the business office navigate through new accounting pronouncements and to better prepare for the annual audit. We've used some of their tools in the past, and it's been very, very helpful. They also conduct an annual school law and finance seminar for school superintendents and board members, which I believe many of you have participated in the past. And for comparison purposes, we've also provided you with a copy of the Oakland County survey of Oakland County districts, their respective auditing firms, and their fees for 2019. So I can answer any questions you may have at this time.
I'm just going to say that
Okay.
we have been able to participate in their conference that they offer, and it's excellent, very informative, excellent. Those of us that have attended have really benefited, so
Right, yeah,
thank
they
you.
did a good job. Okay, thank you.
Okay, good, thanks. Next, we're moving to, yep, I'm sorry, Mrs. Williams? No, okay. We're moving to action items. Is there an approval to, for the resolution to hold a public budget hearing? Mrs. Williams?
Approve the resolution to hold the public hearing on the fiscal year 2021 budget and waive the reading of the resolution. Support.
There is a motion to approve the hearing for 2021 budget and waive the reading of the resolution by Mrs. Weems, supported by Mr. Rich. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Mrs. Smith, will you please do roll call vote?
Ms. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Mukamal?
Yes.
Ms. Weems?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Ms. Green?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Okay, that is approved. Moving to our next item, consent agenda. Is there a motion related to consent agenda? Mrs. Weems?
Approve the March 10th, 2010 consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes from the February 25th, 2020 regular meeting.
Thank you.
Support.
We have a Weems to approve the March 10th, 2020 consent agenda, supported by Mrs. Cummings. Any discussion? Mrs. Smith, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Mukamal?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Ms. Cummings?
Yes.
Ms. Weems?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Ms. Green?
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, motion's approved. Thank you. Moving next to reports from board representatives. Is there any board Mr. Munkmal?
Yesterday, the PTA held its founders dinner at Glen Oaks, and it was a wonderful event. It was very well attended. A lot of volunteers were recognized and rewarded for their volunteer work. There were also, I want to point out, a couple of presentations by students, and one by a senior and the other by a dance group. They were both very moving and very, very serious. And so I just want to commend the PTA Council for putting on this wonderful event for the district. It was really, really quite something to see.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving to agenda items, superintendent announcements. Dr. Herrera.
Thank you. Just like to provide the board with one update tonight. As we know, the coronavirus is a very important talking point certainly for our families and our students and our staff. So I've asked Diane to update the board on how we're addressing the situation and what we have in place to continue to review it and update and look at new practices and policies and procedures throughout the time that we're dealing with this. So Diane, if you'd.
Thank you. If I can get through this with my stomach all in knots tonight. I don't know why, but.
Can't imagine why.
Yes. No, so I just want to give you an update on where we are with the coronavirus. First, I want to say anything that we have been working on, we're working in conjunction and collaboration with several agencies and organizations, including the CDC, Oakland Schools, Oakland County Health Department, the Michigan Department of Education, and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. So it's a big collaboration, along with working with our fellow school districts across Michigan. So we believe that by working together, we will be putting out the best information that is helpful to our staff and families and making sure that our schools are safe places. Just so that you know, I'm monitoring the CDC page on a daily basis. So they update their page at 12 noon every day. So that makes sure that we have the most up-to-date information that we possibly can. So right now on the CDC webpage, there are no cases in Michigan. Now that can change tomorrow by noon. But just right now, that's where Michigan stands. So just kind of give you an overview of what we've done so far. So on March 5th, the superintendent sent out a letter to FPS parents and staff with information about the virus and what the district is working on. This communication was written with guidance from a toolkit. So our first toolkit that we received last week was written from the Michigan School Public Relations Association, and it was reviewed by the Michigan Department of Ed, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, the Michigan Association of Superintendents and School Administrators, and the Michigan Association of Intermediate School Administrators. We also received another toolkit today from the Oakland County Health Department. So very similar. This is just a little more localized for Oakland County. And so that was our first communication out to the community. I suspect that we will have continuing communications out to our community as we receive more information and can share with our community what we're doing. So on March 6th, we set up a section on the district's website. Patrick's my Vanna tonight. She's going to show that. On our district homepage, and it's under our news section. And then when folks click on there, we're just loading with information, a lot of what's in our toolkits up there so people can have information right away. And then our district communications are also up there. So it's one place they can go to, get all the information they need. The other piece I wanted to show you, so the Oakland County School Public Relations Professionals, so it's my core group across the county. We're in contact with each other almost every day on email, and we set up this, one of our school districts set this up so that all of the school districts can put in what they're working on. So as a school district, we can say, hey, what are they doing for cleaning, other districts? We can go down here and say, oh, they instituted additional cleaning as well. So we know that we're right in line with folks. And when we have a question, we're also adding it. So I think I just added a question at the bottom. Oh, sanitizing playground equipment. So I really want to see how other districts will be handling that as well, because we have been discussing that today. That we're also working on right now a frequently asked question document, so that people will put it on our site, and then I'm kind of gathering all the questions, and we're putting up answers. So that should be done up on the site this week. So we're asking if anyone, if they could email them to info@fpsk12.net, so that we can be sure that we have make sure we get the answers out there. Alrighty. The other piece that we did, district advisory team, and this has been so helpful. So we gathered a group from all facets of the organization. So we have leadership from special education, athletics, instruction, transportation, all coming together, and of course custodial services and maintenance, coming together to discuss all the different facets of this. So it's really good to hear, so that nutrition services can hear, oh wow, you're doing that? Okay, we should probably do this too. So we are meeting weekly on that. And this week, some of our team members are going to be meeting with both the elementary and elementary and secondary principal groups. So we can share information with all the principals and then answer questions and gather feedback. So that's one part of it. I don't know why my voice is shaking. Other part, so this is a big thing that we're dealing with, is cleaning and disinfecting. So Supervisor Jim Pierce sent a message to all staff on March 8th, which was a Sunday, by the way. So Jim has been working on this day and night. So he sent a message out to all staff, just telling staff what we're doing with extra cleaning. All the high-touch surfaces are being extra cleaned, and not just extra cleaned, I should say disinfected. So that includes doorknobs, phones, light switches, keyboards, lockers. So all of that is being done. We are purchasing several 360 sanitizing machines that when used to disinfect a whole area, so it's a sprayer. This is how the police department described it. You spray here, it kind of wraps around everything. So you don't have to go here, and you don't have to go in front of here. It's electromagnetic, and it just kind of, it's pretty wild, but it's pretty high-tech stuff. So I was thrilled to hear after the presentation from the fire department that we are getting that here for us. So that's really good that Jim just went out and researched that right away. He's also ordered more than 500 hand sanitizer stations that will be distributed and installed throughout the district. So on Monday, when we came together for the first time, Jim had a map of one school and just said, here's all the spots we're putting them in. And he had that for every school. So he's very on top of this. He expects to have all the materials this week, have them installed so that they're up and running by Monday. That was my phone, Siri. Sorry about that. So we are also looking at obtaining disinfectant wipes. Obviously not from Costco, because there's none there.
They don't have them.
But Jim has some good people that he's working with to get some those wipes so that we can have one in each classroom. So we'll start there, and then we will obviously have to reorder more. The transportation department, so Aaron Hill was on top of all of this as well. He equipped all drivers with hand sanitizer. You won't find any at the dollar store, because that's where he got his. But disinfectant wipes and disinfectant spray for buses. And then he's working in conjunction with Jim with that other 360 sprayer. And then they have a fogger system, disinfectant system as well, that can be used. One of the big things we talked about today, by bringing the departments together, so our nutrition services department is working in conjunction with our noon aides and custodians to coordinate cleaning and sanitizing all the areas in the school cafeterias. Now we may have to suspend the lunch sharing tables during this time frame, and we will certainly bring that back once it's okay to do that. And the other piece that, as you can imagine, we're talking a lot about is international travel. So we're following the CDC guidelines right now. At this point, they have countries that are a level 3 that would have to be quarantined, and I know you have heard all of this because it's on the news all the time. So we're following those guidelines. Now, anyone returning from these countries, of course, will ask to be self-quarantined. The other thing that we had to do, and we're sad to do this as well, is all district trips to international destinations have been suspended at this time. So we had one to Costa Rica and one to South Africa that we had to put on hold. So that's kind of where we are with those trips. So that's kind of a broad overview of what this group has been doing, and that's in 1 week. So we'll continue to work. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Mrs. Smith.
Okay.
Will the students receive a refund?
So Tyrone Weeks is working on that right now with the companies.
And the other one was, it's not really a question. There were some concerns last night from staff members from your K through 5 about the vacuuming the floors. They're only vacuuming once a week on Fridays. So your elementary school, K through 5, those teachers are concerned, could they have it done more? Because they do sit on the floors.
Okay. I would definitely bring that to Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
Thank you. The whole team for everything you're doing. We're obviously moving forward in uncharted waters because we don't know what this is or what it can do. And I mean, thank God so far that what I've seen, this affects people that are much, much older. But again, we just don't know. But having said that, have we thought about allowing any students, faculty, staff, et cetera, to voluntarily wear masks? Again, I'm using the word voluntarily. I don't know if there's a policy against that right now, but if so, I would hope we'd exercise some discretion and potentially suspend that if there is. But I think that would potentially make some folks a little more comfortable as well.
Yeah, County Health Department and our local law enforcement and public safety. From what I have been told, the masks that we can get, which are not available right now, do not serve any purpose. You can get a higher grade mask that is better,
N95.
but we can certainly check that out.
Well, I guess someone has a mask and wants to bring it or wear it.
Okay.
You know, I'm not suggesting that we supply them. More so, permit the use of them if those folks think it's necessary.
Yeah, we can certainly look into that.
Thanks.
Mrs. Weems was next.
To commend the district for your work in this area, for developing a response plan. I know it's constantly developing, but for doing it so quickly. It's, obviously kind of uncharted waters, as Mr. Johnson mentioned. But it's clear to me, based on discussion with Dr. Herrera, that you guys are kind of leading in this area along with our neighboring districts in identifying a plan, becoming responsive, identifying some innovative disinfecting techniques. I appreciate all of that, and we'll look to hear from you as you discover more. I'm really hopeful that we'll continue to get more guidance, from the state and county and so forth. But it's clear to me that you guys are not waiting for that, and so I definitely greatly appreciate the fact that we're not sitting and waiting on guidance, that we're developing a responsive plan ourselves.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Muckmel.
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly want to second Ms. Weems' comments on that. Do we have, from a communication standpoint, you put out these beautiful, the update newsletter, and I'm wondering if you've given consideration to something like that to go out to the public in Farmington Hills, our wonderful taxpayers that support this district, to reassure them with this great information that you're providing us tonight, to just let them know that we are being proactive and all of the different things that we are doing in the schools to keep the staff and the students safe. I think that would be really, really helpful, along with press, newspaper, that kind of thing.
TV 10.
Yeah, TV 10 too.
Mrs. Cummings.
Diane, and also thank you to Jim. I know that this has been a lot of work. It's come fast and furious.
And it's all the colleagues too. It's not just
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone.
They dropped everything to work on this.
Right, and it really is a team effort. There's so much information, and as you indicated, it's changing on a daily basis. So really to keep up with it and make sure that we're updating our practices, and also that we're communicating the information out. I know it's a lot of work, so thank you to the team. I do have a question about the international travel. We had students, I think some staff as well traveling. Now, I've heard canceled, and I think I heard you say on hold. So are we putting it on hold, or is it just being canceled?
My understanding is that anticipate what the conditions are going to be like in June, because that's when the trips are scheduled. So, you know, if things lighten up and suddenly, you know, there's more travel and it doesn't spread at the extent it is right now, things may change. So what we're mostly focused on is looking for to work with travel companies that offer some type of refund or some type of insurance that you could buy in addition to get the refund, which is why we're talking about you know, finances to cover that from the general fund to relieve parents from that burden and on. So we had a fairly lengthy discussion just on that topic, and as Diane said, Mr. Weeks is going to go out and do some fact finding and contact some companies. And actually, our athletic director was very helpful, and she must have experience in coordinating those type. Oh, she travels a lot herself. She even seemed to know like if you're going to fly to South Africa, where your connection's going to be and what likely it's going to be in one of these countries. So it was an interesting conversation with the group today, but some of that's to be determined. But at this point in time, we believe that the recommendation would be to hold off on sending kids based on what we know right now. And then, but it's, you know, June is some time away yet, and the season's going to change, and I don't know if that's going to impact this, and all of a sudden they would have had the opportunity then, and when they would have lost it based on a decision right now. So we're trying to play that one out the best we can. So yes and no.
Right. Oh, okay. And I was hopeful that was the situation. And I mean, that's one example of one group of students. And I know we have students involved in many activities, you know, not only attending school every day. And this is really, as you mentioned, it's being updated on a daily basis. So I know I would just like to express my thanks for everyone in the community and the parents and the students for being patient and just understanding that really it's everyone's best interest in health that we have to put first and consider, as disappointing as some of those decisions might be to some of our students. So, but hopefully, I'm hoping for good news. I'm hoping, you know, so it's good to hear that it's just maybe on hold and that the details are trying to, you know, you're trying to work those out.
We were just simply worried about the financial loss by committing this early.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
Thank you. I'm hearing and seeing lots of athletic events that are now spectatorless. You know, you've got a soccer field with nothing but players and necessary people. In that, or maybe get out of control, it may be something that we want to consider down the road. So just maybe have a plan in place if.
We touched on that today,
We talked
too.
about that today as well.
So we will definitely monitor that.
Yes. So talked about the nature of the sport, the level of contact with the kids and all that stuff. So we actually even did talk about it regarding the players as well as the spectators. But that's something that I think we're going to wait to hear back from the league and what the next steps are and what they think is in the best interest of the kids. And again, you know, and I know everybody knows this, but it seems like we repeatedly say this. Maybe this will slow down, or maybe it'll speed up. If it speeds up, we'll be moving more quickly to make those decisions. Hopefully, if it slows down a little bit, we won't have to get to the point where we're making those decisions. But that's why we'll meet every Monday morning. This team comes every Monday morning. We'll review everything. Any new updates, Diane will take a look at the county website to see the new updates, the CDC, like she does every day. We'll review all those. We can take questions in and review questions that we've been asked on Monday morning. We'll come up with recommendations at the end of the meeting on Monday. And I wanted to include the board at some level on this in terms of input and opportunities for input. But it's, of course, because these decisions have to be made in a timely manner, to go through the whole board procedure would delay that. So my recommendation is we certainly we'll inform all the board of our recommendations, but we would communicate directly to policy and ask you for some specific advice if we got to the point where it would force us to change a policy or a practice in the district that would impact staff and students. So when we get to that point, we will certainly be under advisement with the board at the very least.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you. Dr. Greer, for review of
Thank
the
you,
March
Diane.
24th meeting.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Diane. And Diane's very humble in the fact that certainly the team deserves credit for this, but Diane has really led and pushed us to make sure that we're being timely on this and we're communicating it well. And again, same with Jim Pierce. He's been invaluable with his technical knowledge and all the fact finding he's done. It's been very impressive working with him, and he's really helped lead it in terms of making sure the environments are safe. And again, even on the 360 sprayers, there's 4 of those things that are going to be out there spraying, in addition to the floggers and how they're going to spray the buses as well, and then all the cleaning that's going to go on. So it was very enlightening to me to learn that aspect of the district at that level today, or over the past week. So no, thank you to you and to Jim and the team for their commitment to this. It's much appreciated. So at the March 24th meeting, I would just like to note that I will read this preview, but unfortunately I won't be able to participate in it because I will be at a conference on that particular day. But you'll review a bid packet for central office and the MEC roof replacement, review of budget parameters and assumptions for the budget and the budget forecast. So Jennifer's put together some projected budgets and some assumptions for you, the board, to review. Then you will come back to approve the bus purchase that was presented tonight. Well, I say approve. Hopefully, the recommendation would be to approve, and there'll be a recommendation to approve the generator at Visions and approval of the presentation of the work that'll be done at Farmington Early Childhood. Last but not least, and also the phone system update. And then, last but not least, we'll get into the business world again, and the board will get to consider our auditor for the next year. But that's what you'd have to look forward to at the next meeting.
Thank you. Moving to our next item on the agenda, any recommendations for future agenda items? Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, I that we just have, maybe a continual update just for the public.
We'll put those on.
Until
we
it's.
certainly can put those on district updates.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good and welfare. Mr. Rich.
Sure. I just want to be real quick. You've got 42 minutes to get in line to vote if you haven't already. Polls close at 8 p.m. and if you are in line to vote, you are able to, even if you don't vote by 8. So please, if you haven't yet, please go vote, and please wash your hands. That's all I got.
Thank you. Mrs. Smith.
As you know, March is March Madness, whether you're basketball or reading. I've had the opportunity to go into our elementary schools, and it's been a blast to read to the students. So far, I've been at Beachview, Lanigan, and I will be at STEAM, and I will be at Hillside. The students have enjoyed it because the books that I read, I go into character. So I have been Dr. Seuss, and I have been If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, so I was dressed as a mouse. The others are coming up. They will be surprises. I had a great time at Lanigan. The students thought I was Mrs. Smith, and and I had the opportunity to work with Miss Turner, and students actually knew what a fable was, and most students don't even know at second, third grade what a fable is. So for those that are out there, no, I am not Mrs. Smith, and so I had one student say, "You are Mrs. Smith, you just had a baby and you can still tell." So no, I'm not Mrs. Smith. So, but yeah, it's been a blast, and I'll give you just watch my Facebook page, you'll see the pictures of the costumes I've worn. So thank you for everybody for allowing me to come in and read.
Mr. Muckamal.
last evening of attending a concert with the Farmington High School Wind Ensemble and Farmington Community Band. It happens every 2 years. The Farmington Community Band does a joint concert with one of the high schools. This Thursday, school wind ensembles will be having a concert at 7:30. So if you're interested, please feel free to attend.
Mrs. Weems.
Enjoyed it, but I will try to make the Thursday event. I did make the Warner Jazz concert, and there were about 150 students who were performing. It was outstanding. I would have paid to go see it, and I keep telling them that they should charge. It's just outstanding. I also got to do the mock interviews at STEAM Academy. Students are really stepping up their game, very professional with resumes, some of them, and thank you cards and thank you notes. I was really impressed. It's clear that they're learning how to become young adults and enter the workforce, so that was good. PTA Council dinner, Mr. Mukumal already mentioned, but just to echo, the in addition to the feel good around recognizing the adults, the student presentations, one was an original song composition. She played the piano, and another one was the Harrison Dance team. Just really outstanding, and several board members were in attendance to that. I think we all enjoyed it. And then finally, I just wanted to mention again, Mrs. Jennings from the Farmington Education Foundation mentioned it, that there are several scholarships on the website. There are 6 of them that the Farmington Education Foundation actually manage, meaning they accept the applications, and there are several more that they promote but don't necessarily manage, including the one that I've mentioned before that was recently started this year in my family's name. Those are due March 20th, and so I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that again, because we've only got a few more days now, 10 more days until those scholarships close. So that's it.
Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Rich said this earlier, I just want to say it again. You still have time to vote. If you haven't voted, please get out there. There's lots of things at stake, not just the presidential election. Please flip the ballot. On the back there is a bond recommendation, either yes or no. Please exercise your voice in that. Thank you.
Hey, don't forget to check the district website. Spring is in the air, and we have many awesome plays coming at both our middle schools and our high schools. The information's all on there. It's sure to be some great entertainment, so please join us. Those plays are open to the entire community, so please check that out. Also, I wanted to just talk about an opportunity that, as a board, we've come together to offer. In November, we will have 3 seats up for election for the Board of Education. So we have put together on March 26th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Maxfield Education Center. We will be holding a Board of Education candidate information night. More information will be put out by School Community Relations, but I wanted to at least get that out there so people knew. If you want to know what is board work, what's involved, what's more, that's an awesome opportunity for you to come and hear from your board members about what that opportunity is. So again, that's March 26th from 6 to 7:30 at the Maxfield Education Center.
So moved.
Is there
To adjourn.
Yeah, it's moved to adjourn. We have a motion by Mr. Johnson.
Second.
And I think, did
Whatever,
Mrs. Weems?
doesn't
Mrs.
matter.
Weems seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a wonderful evening. This meeting is adjourned.